Good afternoon, and thank you to everyone for joining us today. I know it's a busy time of year with back to school, everyone heading back, so I appreciate you guys taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us to learn more about the fellowship. We're super excited to share more about the program today, and we're grateful to be here with some past and present fellowship participants to share their experiences with the program. And my name is Maddie Mainman. I'm the Senior Coordinator of Fellowship at the Chef Ann Foundation, and I'll be here to share some more information and moderate our panel today. So today we'll do a quick overview of who we are at the Chef Ann Foundation. We'll talk about what the Healthy School Food Pathway Fellowship Program is all about, and then we'll jump right into the fellow and district panel so you can hear from our lovely participants. Before we leave, we'll quickly go over the timeline for the 2026 cohort and how you can apply. So first, a little bit about the Chef Ann Foundation. As many of you may know, we were founded in 2009 by Chef Ann Cooper, and we're dedicated to promoting whole ingredient scratch cooking in schools. We believe that scratch cooking enables schools to serve the healthiest, tastiest meals so that kids are well nourished and they're ready to learn. Our mission is to ensure that school food professionals have the resources, funding, and support that they need to provide fresh, healthy, delicious, and scratch cooked meals that support the health of our children as well as our planet. We work with K through 12 schools in all 50 states and some US territories, and to date we've helped more than 16,000 schools and 4.4 million kids eat healthier, fresher school meals. A little bit about the Healthy School Food Pathway. Our fellowship is part of our Healthy School Food Pathway program, which was created to strengthen the school food workforce by preparing individuals for job opportunities in healthy, scratch-cooked school food programs. In the first decade of our work at the foundation, we saw that having sufficient and sufficiently skilled labor and leadership was often a key barrier to increasing scratch cooking in schools, and thus our Healthy School Food Pathway programming was born. While the pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs were created for entry-level employees who are looking to start a career in school food, the fellowship program is designed to develop the next generation of diverse leaders who are prepared to run sustainable, scratch-cooked school food programs and drive school food reform within their districts and outside of them. The fellowship is an intensive program for mid to upper level K through 12 school food professionals. Over the course of 13 months, fellows participate in virtual learning sessions, on-site training, and hands-on project work to gain the skills, knowledge, and confidence to create change in their own districts. To learn a bit more about program goals, components, and eligibility requirements, please check out our pre-recorded webinar and application demo. Instead of digging into all of that information here, we're going to let you hear from our panel. So I'm going to briefly introduce our panel, and then we'll dive in with some questions for them. So we have some planned questions for this group, but we also welcome your questions. Please add those questions to the Q&A, and we'll have some time to pose them to our panelists at the end of the webinar. So today we are joined by some of our lovely current and past participants, as well as some of the leadership from their districts who have supported them throughout the program. First up, we have a current participant. His name is Graham Schreiber, and he is the Nutrition Services Program Manager at Portland Public Schools. Next, we have two of our 2024 alumni that graduated in January of this year. Brianna Ippolito, who is the School Nutrition Coordinator at Acton-Boxborough Regional School District, and Aaron Shipp, who is the Area Supervisor at Greeley-Evans-Weld County School District 6. Aaron is joined by Kara Sample, who is the Assistant Director of Nutrition at Greeley-Evans-Weld County School District 6. And then we're also joined by one of our inaugural fellows, Josie Perez, who is in our first cohort. She is the Culinary and Innovation Supervisor at Redlands Unified School District. And she's joined by Betty Crocker, who was her supervisor during the fellowship program and has since moved into the role of Director of Nutrition Services at Lodi Unified School District, where she is shepherding two other fellows through the program. So with that, I'm going to close out our slides so you can see our panelists' lovely faces, and we will jump into our questions. So the first question I have is both for our fellows and our district leadership. What motivated you to apply for the Healthy School Food Pathway Fellowship? Karen Betty, as Assistant Director or Director, why would you encourage someone on your team to apply for this opportunity? And I'll pass it off to Brianna to get us started.
Hi, everybody. My name's Brianna, like Maddie said, and I am located in Massachusetts. So when I applied for the fellowship program, I had just finished my first year of being the nutrition coordinator in Acton-Boxborough. And really the main reason why I wanted to apply for this program is I went to dietitian school, and throughout my internships with them, I really did not feel like I got enough out of school in the sense of I knew the nutrition, I knew some of the culinary, but I really wanted to learn more of the finance piece, how to manage school meals and staff. So through applying for this program, I really wanted to feel confident in those things and get to know all different types of people from across the United States who are also trying to follow this passion that I have for school meals and for children. So I applied and thankfully I got in, and it was a wonderful experience, and I'm so happy that I got to do it.
Thanks, Brianna. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Graham Schreiber in Portland, Oregon. I applied for the fellowship partly just because of how kind of rocky and rough the post-COVID years were in this field. I felt myself really kind of burning out and losing sight of why this work mattered and why it matters currently to me. So I saw it as a chance to kind of strengthen some of my skills as a school food leader, expand my network out, and also try to get out of some of the ways of thinking that I think COVID installed in some of us. I am just really motivated by the chance to learn from industry leaders, share best practices with the fellowship group, and hopefully bring back new ideas and processes that make an impact in my current district. And lastly, I just have always had a huge admiration for the work that Chef Ann Foundation does, and it felt like a great way to get more involved and get access to some of the awesome resources that they provide for districts.
Hi, everyone. I'm Josie Perez. I'm in Redlands, California, in Southern California. I joined the fellowship because we were coming into the era where we were being offered to do 40% scratch. And I was trying to figure out how are we going to do that, especially a school district that didn't have enough equipment, didn't have a central kitchen that could cook food from raw. Like I wanted to learn the best practices from districts that do scratch already and understand how can I implement that into my district and where to start. And I mean, I just wanted to see who was doing it better than me and learn from them, because that's the amazing thing about school nutrition. We all want to help each other and we want to motivate each other. And that was a big thing. It was like figuring out how to do it better.
And following up on Josie, I had the privilege to serve as her director at the time. And quite selfishly, I wanted Josie to be able to experience what I knew from Chef Ann, which is a huge community, a vital connection to our scratch-based commitment, which is the same reason that when I went to Lodi Unified as the director, I also was privileged to have Chef Randy accepted as a fellow of the previous year, and now Chef Jeannie accepted this year. And, you know, we all unite in this National School Nutrition Association conference, and there's Chef Ann fellows all around. And anything I can do to help support the Chef Ann Foundation voice and have that first person experience is a big deal to me. I met her in 2005 when I was a student at Le Cordon Bleu, and I've never been the same ever. She's fabulous.
Okay, my name's Aaron Ship. Like we said, Maddie keeps calling us lovely, and I don't know that I would qualify as lovely, but I appreciate that. I joined, I've much like Brianna, I was in my position about a year when the opportunity came up to apply for the foundation or for the fellowship. I spent the past 30 years in retail, had nothing to do with school nutrition. I know how to take care of people and mentor people and coach people and do all the people things, but and how to sell stuff, but not anything to do with school nutrition. So this was the perfect opportunity for me to come and learn all the things, learn the procurement, the um, how to cook, how to use knife skills, and all the things that I had never learned. So it really did come as a perfect opportunity. And I'm very, very pleased that I was able to make the connections and learn all the things that I have going through the program. So great experience.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kara, and I am from Colorado. And I had the opportunity to support Aaron throughout his journey on his fellowship. And, you know, from my standpoint, in encouraging someone on your team to apply for a fellowship is really such a powerful way to build internal capacity. And I truly believe that supporting an employee's participation shows confidence in their potential and really cultivates that leadership from within the organization. And ultimately contributing to sustainable change is what the end goal is. And I've really seen this firsthand as Aaron has become a true catalyst for broader kitchen and menu transformation since completing his fellowship.
Thank you, everyone. I'm hearing a lot of common themes around building your knowledge of school food operations, building your community, and also refreshing your passion for, serving our kids the best meals that we can. I really appreciate you guys sharing out on that. Our next question is just for our fellows, and it is, can you describe a specific moment or experience during the fellowship that was particularly impactful for you? And we'll start with Brianna again.
I think everyone has kind of summed it up in this one word, which is definitely passion. I think the group that I was with was a passionate group of people. It is so nice to be able to have those people that you can bounce ideas off of and things of that nature. When I was at districts that were across the country, you could just feel the passion in their programs. Everyone believed in their missions to scratch cook and do the best that they can for their children. And it's so cool to see those things. And I think it's also important to realize while the in-person experiences are impactful, the classes are also impactful. And I think for me, something that I was really looking forward to was the financial classes, because again, that wasn't something I really did a lot of in school. So being able to take those classes, I felt really confident afterwards that I had more abilities in, especially the finance piece, to go forward and bring that back to my district.
Yeah, I think for me, the one that came to mind, so I think for the 2024 fellows, correct me if I'm wrong, they met in person, I think a little bit sooner than our fellowship did. It was around 2 months into the program, so we had a couple weeks of Zoom classes and hadn't really got a chance to connect. But our first in-person gathering, we went to California at San Bernardino Unified to do a leadership intensive. And it was really eye-opening for me to see, I think they asked the question in the room of like, who views themselves as this type of problem solver where I just do everything myself because no one else can do it for me. And pretty much everyone in the room raised their hand. And I thought it was kind of exemplary of what our mindset is in this role sometime or this field. And just seeing the way that kind of broke down over our time together and everyone started to lean on each other to problem solve and help each other with problems that they were experiencing in their own districts. And we got a chance to like practice how to coach employees and how to coach each other and do some of that peer learning and sharing. And it was just really amazing what happened in just a couple of days together in the first time. And then after that, our Zoom calls weekly got much more engaging and community building just from having that in-person experience. So that was what really stuck out to me as an example.
For me, I would have to say, like Graham, it was the same time all 24 fellows got to be in one place. We had our event at Scratchworks in Austin, and um, it was just a great place to talk to each other and interact with each other for over 3 days and understand where everybody was. Even though we did talk, I would say, oh my gosh, I think that was 4 months in, and we had already gone to our first site to visit a scratch cook district. And even though everyone was shocked that we met each other for the first time, but in reality it looked like we've been hanging out since like forever. And our team is very strong in interacting, and I think as soon as we started as a group, we had a group text going and we were constantly interacting and just texting each other like if we were having problems and difficulties. And that first time you get to meet everybody, it's an amazing thing.
So for me, the one moment that really stood out, I had a capstone project where I bought some potato peelers, and we were going to make we're making mashed potatoes. Before we debuted our mashed potatoes, I went to an elementary school and I did a blind taste test. I made a pan of instant dehydrated potatoes, and I cupped them up in little sample cups. And I had a pan of our fresh scratch made mashed potatoes, and I cupped them up and I numbered them 1 and 2. As fourth graders came through the line, I gave them each one of each cup. And I said, go out and taste it. I'm going to come back and ask you what you think of it. Now, prior to this, we had been serving the instant potatoes for several years because we didn't have the capacity to do the fresh potatoes. We did it during COVID, the times that we were in school serving. And so I gave them the opportunity to pick which one they liked. After they had all had a chance to taste it, I went out into the cafeteria and I said, okay, who likes number 1? Hands went up. Who likes number 2? Hands went up. I think I had about 74 that liked the instant potatoes and about 6 that liked the scratch made potatoes. It was very shocking to me that they liked the thing that I was trying to get away from. But it struck me after a while, that's what they were used to. That's what they get at home. That's what we served them for several years. And so it's a matter of presenting them with the good scratch made items and changing their mindset to get away from the junk that's out there. And so that struck me as something very moving, that we've got a lot of work to do. And that's why we're heading towards the scratch cooking that we are. We're currently at about 65% scratch cooking in our district, but there's still 35% that we've got to keep going towards. So it was very eye-opening.
Thank you, Erin. I love that story. And I think it's something we hear throughout the fellowship too. Like, students are used to that food. So sometimes just getting it in front of them and getting them used to the new scratch made options is really your first step. And I also appreciated how our other panelists talked about the community that the fellowship brings. This is something that we hear in our evaluation and our chats with alumni a lot, that the community is such a special part of this program and really sticks with you past graduation as well. So thank you guys for sharing a bit more about that. Our next question is for Betty and Kara, for our district leaders. How has having a member of your team participate in the fellowship impacted your department's capacity to increase scratch cooking? And we'll start with Betty.
You got it. And so I just put some links in the chat so you can also see it live. If I can get that to, hang on one second. There we go. So the big deal here is it is the community, and the community is everything, because that's really where my mindset is as a director. Is I want my colleagues to be able to experience a wider worldview when it comes to our food system that serves the largest restaurant in our country, which happens to be all of your districts, my district. So here in Lodi, I like to talk about the outputs. And so Chef Randy, who was in the cohort that followed Chef Josie, he is the one that brought sushi to our school. Nobody ever hears of sushi in school foods. And so sure enough, Chef Ann Foundation, they gave us a really nice funding pot. I told Randy, just swing for the fences and I will get whatever shortfall it is. And we developed the sushi rice from brown rice. And it was very challenging from the culinary perspective. And he worked with his cohort to figure that out. And then we eventually ended up figuring out the production and how to put it into the oven so that we could share it with a bigger audience. And from there, we ended up, we still do the rolls. It's not shown in this particular slide, but we decided to go for a sushi roll in a bowl, again, for production thresholds, because you have to be able to, thread it into your food system so that it could be a deliverable. And last year, I'm super proud to share with you that he got this production with the help of all of our colleagues here into all of our high schools, 100% of our high schools. Heck, we even put it on a food truck to make sure that our continuation high schools also got it. So it's just where innovation lives with everything. And that was the big impact here at Lodi. And I hope you enjoy the pictures too that I shared with Chef Randy.
Man, Betty, that sushi bowl looks amazing.
It's fabulous, friend.
Oh.
I'm not even kidding.
That's awesome. Well, I'm going to actually refer back to Aaron and his potato story. So as he mentioned, through his self-led Capstone project, he secured funding to purchase these large-scale potato peelers. And it's pretty obvious, the long-term impact of that is very clear, that the equipment will significantly expand our capacity for scratch cooking and also incorporating local products into our menus. We grow a lot of potatoes and root vegetables here in the state of Colorado. So the peelers are just really gonna remove a huge labor barrier, making it feasible not only to serve mashed potatoes like Aaron referred to, but healthier baked French fries and roasted potato wedges and sweet potato variations. And we've even dug really deep and thought about what else can we use in this equipment. Will beets work? Will onions work? Turnips, yucca? We're getting real creative. So I am excited to see where our potato peelers are going to lead to.
Thank you both. Yes, the capstone is a very special part of the program. For a little bit more information for those on the call, this is kind of the culminating project of the fellowship. So each fellow gets 6 months and $5,000 to implement a project of their choosing in their district. And the question is really, what's the next step in scratch cooking for you guys that's within the scope of this project? And it's amazing to see what each person chooses. Betty, I remember all of the testing that Randy did. He really stuck with it and came out with a great product. Okay, so our next question is just for our fellows again. How has your participation helped you grow professionally? How has the fellowship positively impacted your career trajectory? Or how do you anticipate it will? And we'll start with Aaron.
Okay, so this directly links to why I signed up for the program. It's helped me grow in all the things that I was lacking in. The hours of sitting in front of the computer and having the one-on-one or the group web classes together every Tuesday afternoon, going through each of the different topics has helped me learn about the things that I didn't know about. Also, the hours of going through the classes, the classes that Chef Ann leads and directs and talks through. All those things have given me the knowledge that I've needed to be able to be successful in my job. You know, without it, I would just be running around trying to fight fires with my knowledge of my previous world. But this gives me the in-depth way to go in and figure out what's really happening behind the scenes. So it's going to continue to help me throughout my career to give me the good background of the things I didn't know.
I would say professionally on my end, participation in the program has, I would allowed me to have access to information in one place. When I started the program, I started as the nutrition specialist. I was the registered dietitian. I was the person everybody came to here. And it was like I had to search everything coming out of my master's program and going into school nutrition in the middle of COVID. It was like researching everything and figuring it out, and literally researching online and maybe interacting with just local people, and having the access in one place to people, information, and just like a cavalcade of information, that networking that you could have access to, just allowed me to realize, oh my gosh, I don't have to go search for it. It's right here in front of me. And that was amazing professionally, because sometimes when you look for research, you don't know if it's fact or fiction, and you kind of have to sift through a lot. And having that access in one place is amazing. The online classes were amazing. I kind of absorbed as much as I could on the school food institute classes, and it's just amazing. And I moved from being the registered dietitian now to the culinary innovation supervisor as of this December, and it's amazing because I also feel that the program makes you realize you can take risks, but with calculated risk from the help of other people. Like Aaron said, hearing what other people say and how they're doing it, that allows you a chance to figure it out and mull it over and how it can work for your district. It's exciting because our district has provided now the funding for a central kitchen, and we're building a central kitchen. And I feel confident going into building a central kitchen that I can ask people how things work. How does this mixer work? How does that work? What makes sense in putting in our central kitchen? Because I've had a chance to network with different people who have different equipment and give me their opinion on which item works best for an automatic potato peeler here, which Aaron's shared with me. And just if we were to lean over to do sushi too, it's great. And what's great with the fellowship, I also see, is that I interact with Lodi as if they are part of my family down here. And I call them Redlands North, but then Betty calls me Lodi South. So, but it doesn't end there. It's with everybody, with the other cohorts. We interact with each other when we do get together, and we get to share stories. And that end of the year capstone project, I'm gonna make sure I'm there the next graduation, because it is like a whole day conference of best practices on what you could be doing next to do better in your school district. And I'm excited about it. So Maddie, make sure I'm on that list because I will show up.
I think for me, it's twofold, right? Like, for one, it's helped me in my current capacity. So I work in a pretty large district. We're about like a little over 50,000 students in Portland and 80 some sites. So our department is pretty compartmentalized in terms of our roles. So for one, it's really helped me understand what my team is working on, even if that doesn't directly impact my day-to-day. So I can come to my financial analyst or our procurement person or our buyer and know a little bit more about where they're coming from just from my exposure to our weekly sessions or talking with other fellows. So that I think has like improved my participation on my team on the ground. And then also the things that are like my focus areas, I do all the interviewing and hiring for our kitchen-based team. So I've been able to pick up strategies around recruitment and how to facilitate better onboarding for staff, how to keep your staff engaged and increase your retention. So there's two sides of both exposure to things I don't know, but also like honing in on the things that I do know and learning how to do them better. So I see this opportunity really as a stepping stone to hopefully take on higher level leadership roles in the school food or in a district someday, to advocate amongst my team better for how to improve our programs. And then also one thing I'll just mention is CAF, the Chef Ann Foundation has a really awesome policy arm. And I've taken a lot from our policy sessions and talking with the policy team there just about how to be a better advocate for what's going on at the state level and the national level with school meals, and just making sure that we're all aligned on how we can best, keep advocating and keep fighting for the work that we do.
And I think for me coming out of college, I just feel so lucky that I was able to get into a career path that is my ultimate dream. I mean, I started right away and I'm not going anywhere, which is so great to see a life in school nutrition. And with that, being the nutrition coordinator of the program, my goals professionally are to move up and hopefully be a food service director someday. And I think what this program did for me is when I'm a leader, I want to be able to do everything that I'm asking my team to do. So being able to do all of these different roles and learning about all of the different specialties within school food was really important for me because I want to feel confident in those things for myself and for my team, because I do feel like a good leader can help where needed. And if you ask any of my fellows, I was definitely nervous going into the kitchen. I am not a culinary expert by any means, but I do feel like I grew in that way. And I was just able to share a lot of that when I came back to the district. So having those abilities now and feeling more confident in leadership skills and seeing a direct path in my future is something that is definitely great going forward.
Thank you all. Yes, the fellowship brings together a very diverse group of people, different backgrounds, different experiences, different districts and roles. So you kind of have a group of experts at your fingertips. If you text your cohort or your alumni, surely someone has done what you're thinking about doing, and you can share some best practices. I also love that you guys all touched on how, some topics are more familiar to you and you can dive in deeper, whereas some are newer to you, and it's good to get that new information and kind of just an overview of what that department does in your district so you can understand your operations a bit more. So appreciate all of your thoughts there. Our next question is for all of our panelists. So how has the fellowship expanded your professional network and connections within the school food community? For Kara and Betty, in what ways do you believe these connections have benefited your department? And we'll start with Aaron.
So being a part of it, like kind of what Brianna was saying, the folks around the country that I've gotten to know through the fellowship, the folks in my cohort, such a wide variety and different backgrounds of people that we had a gal that was a cook in a high school. We had some folks that were directors in various different sizes of districts. One had 50 schools and another one had 3 schools. So just the different variety of participants. It also exposed me to the great folks at Scratchworks, people that that's one of them. The great focuses that they have is to increase scratch cooking throughout the country, with different seminars in various places around the country. People that I would never have been associated with or gotten to know. Like what Brianna was saying, the texts, the strings back and forth with people that have questions and different things that we need. So networking, it's been amazing, instead of just me and my little district here taking care of people. So it's all great.
All right, this has been said over and over and over, but I truly believe it can never be said enough. And for myself, having worked in school nutrition for nearly 20 years, one of the things I value most is that culture of sharing that so many folks have talked about. And as school nutrition operators, we don't compete, we collaborate. And I truly saw that spirit come to life through Aaron's fellowship experience, as he just talked about. He truly did build an incredible network of peers, and I know that he continues to stay connected because regularly he'll be sharing innovative ideas from other school nutrition programs. And it's just, for me, it's been really exciting to see Aaron bring inspiration from across the country back to our little district, like he said. And I believe that his fellowship didn't just benefit him, it really helped evolve our program in very real, tangible ways.
Yeah, I really appreciated the community aspect of this so far. I think, I don't know about everyone's experience, but I definitely felt like I never got a chance in my normal day-to-day to connect with folks in other districts or to visit their operations and see how they were doing things. Thinking about the group of fellows we have right now, I think, Maddie, you can correct me, I think we're at 28 or somewhere around there. But just thinking about how your network expands out just from there, and then all the people that they're also connected to, every time someone poses a really specific question or problem to the group, immediately someone's like, oh, I know someone who went through that. Let me connect you with them. Going to someone already mentioned the Scratchworks gathering 2 years ago. We just got to go as a fellowship group to Minneapolis in May to attend that conference. That was a really amazing networking opportunity to find all these people who are really value aligned on scratch cooking and believe in the work and want to support others in doing the work. So that in-person networking opportunity was huge for me as well. And just, kind of feeling, I know sometimes depending on the size of your district or you can feel kind of siloed and kind of alone in some of the work that you do on site. And that feeling of connection and community, even if it's not in your own state or your own city or your own district, I think can really encourage you to keep going and keep kind of pushing through the problems, and having that kind of support is pretty invaluable in this work, I would say.
For me, I would say the fellowship kind of reminded me how important it is to live outside of your little bubble world of your district nutrition services. Being exposed for a good year with our fellowship group and having that connection with other people and a constant weekly conversation, it made me realize how important it is to keep that connection with other people and constantly networking. Everybody talked about Scratchworks, and it's a great chance to see other people across the country, not just within, I know, California and then a few select states, but it expands, knowing your school districts, how many schools you serve, how many kids you serve, and so forth, and trying to see what another district of that same size is doing and how they're doing it opens so much conversation. And to realize that another district similar to me is doing what I'm doing, okay, show me, how are you doing it? And it's just, everyone's so open to sharing and collaborating, as Kara says. It just reminds me that I can't just be in this little square box. I have to keep growing constantly and seeing how can I constantly improve my food system.
Hey, I was just gonna pop another link in there for you. So the biggest deliverable here, Josie in Redlands, she was phenomenal during COVID. She's so humble right now, but I'm here to out her. She helped us serve 9 million meals. She had to source all of that. That girl can jump through hoops. This innovation that exists in this community is fabulous, and it's only growing. We're building this tent. And so Josie earned her promotion to essentially, she's now officially in charge of the food system and the culinary innovation. Chef Randy just received his promotion. He is now same job description, different title. He is now our nutrition services culinary instructor, and so he's infusing innovation in our kitchens, going one by one, showing people how to use every equipment in the kitchen. Chef Jeannie, she's in the middle of her fellowship right now, and she just got a promotion to a regional supervisor. In case you want to see her picture, she's right there. This is where action happens, friends, right here. And going to the graduation is a BIG. I would recommend that for every director who has a fellow. Support your humans. I've been there 2 years in a row and look forward to being there 3 years in a row. And I always like building the community of fellows to join us at the leadership level for school nutrition association on the national, state, or regional level, stepping into these policy positions. And they gave me 1 minute. I'm pretty sure that my time is up.
Gosh, I feel like everybody hit every point of why it's so important to have connection with each other. But I think really just having that collective of people that you can bounce ideas off of. I mean, just last week I texted my group of fellows and was like, hey, I'm from a small district, but I remember one of you worked with a local bakery and was able to create a bread product for your district. Can someone help me? I have no idea what I'm doing. And someone answered immediately. I got connected with their district, with their dietitian, with their procurement specialist. So helpful. And we met with the bakery yesterday and we're going to get rolling on that. So even just having those conversations with fellows is so crucial to keep your district moving forward. You know, without them, I might not have known what step to take going forward with that. So I'm just very thankful for all of the fellows and then everyone that you also meet in the Chef Ann Foundation. You know, you see each other at different conferences. One of the site visits I went to was Minneapolis, and that team came to visit for ANC in Boston, which is where I'm from. And seeing them again was incredible. So just meeting people from all over the place, you can really have that connection, which I think, you know, a lot of us crave after that COVID period of time too. So all in all, incredible experience and lots of connections and fun.
Thank you all. I don't remember which one of you said this, but someone said how school meal programs are not in competition. And you can really see examples of that every day in the fellowship. So really appreciate the communities that you guys build throughout our program. I did want to clarify one thing just for our applicants for 2026. Scratchworks has been brought up quite a bit. Scratchworks is biannual, so unfortunately it won't be in our curriculum for 2026. We did have a Scratchworks gathering in 2025, but we will certainly connect you all with that network. Brianna and Aaron were in a cohort where Scratchworks was not in our curriculum, but they made it to Scratchworks this year. So we'll certainly connect you guys there. It just won't be one of our trips in 2026. And so with that, all of our questions that we came up with have concluded, and we're going to take a few that were submitted during the webinar. So first one is about balancing time, and I will let any of our fellows jump in on this, and Kara and Buddy, if you have anything to add as well, feel free to jump in. But the question is, was it challenging to hold a high-level, highly responsible position in your school district while also participating in the program? Did you ever have moments when you felt like giving up? And I'll add on to that. What did you do in those moments? And anyone can jump in.
Can I go
All right.
first just as director, maybe just prime the pump a little bit? So as a director, I intentionally recruited all three of them. And as a director in the seat, you have got to support our colleagues that are growing in this. Without the director support, it is pretty impossible. And so that as the foundation is essential. I think it looked like Josie was going to go.
Yeah. Betty, thank you. Thank you for everything. I would have to say what Betty used to tell me all the time. I had to protect my time. That time frame when we had class, that was time. And what's funny is like you learn to figure out how to juggle it because you want to hit those 2 hours where you want to learn more and see what's going on. And yeah, there were times it was like, oh my gosh, that I was like, can I get this done? And but it was doable. It was Chef and Foundation will work with you. If there's a struggle, they will work with you. And um it is manageable. I was a nutrition specialist. I was the only one that did my job. And I was able to um manage that balance with the help of Betty and the staff. We figured it out.
I think, yeah, you get out of it what you put into it. A lot of times, we had a lot of reading to do. That was a big time crunch, going through the UCLA extension class. Reading, it's been a long time since I've been in college, and had to take a class through UCLA and read a book and do units on it. And that was very time consuming. And to get all the classes done, the things done by the deadline, I said, I'm not going to be working on it the last week. I told Maddie and Natalie I wasn't going to be the guy that's doing it the day before it's due. I got it done 2 weeks before it was due. You know, we only had 9 months to get it done, and I procrastinated quite a bit, but got it done, all the programs before the time, and it took a lot, but it was well worth it. So I don't have any concerns about the time that I spent. I did a lot of personal time, but that was fine. It was for my personal growth. So
I think you also have to remember too, when you get the paper and the information, it seems like a lot, and it is, but you have a whole entire year. So I think focusing on piece by piece and not getting overwhelmed with the big picture, but just taking it step by step. My director likes to say Rome wasn't built in a day. So you just kind of have to take, that step by step motion with all of this. And it's much more manageable when you come at it from that point of view. And use your peers. If you're stressed, if you need help, that's what everyone's here for. Or past fellows, you can always reach out to us. At least I speak for that on myself. I'd be happy to help.
The last thing that I'll add is just regarding specifically like the in-person requirements of the fellowship is that it can seem like a challenge, but it's actually an opportunity. And if you get yourself away from your day-to-day, like there's nothing you can do when you're in another state visiting this other program. Like you have to kind of, it forces you a little bit to commit to something and to commit to the trip and commit to being present. Whereas if you're just doing online work from your computer at your desk, it's easier to get distracted. So I really appreciated it kind of just like forcing you to push yourself outside of your comfort zone a little bit and detach from the day-to-day in order to lean into the in-person gatherings.
I'll double down on the in-person trips. They were amazing, to go out and see other districts and other experiences at ICN in Mississippi was a great trip. So all those in-person trips were great.
I'll also add, having that weekly meeting with the cohort helped to decompress and even talk about a problem you're having at school with your work family, and to share it and have and develop potential solutions to go back to work the next day. It was a breath of fresh air to help the meeting of the minds, I'd like to say, to discuss what is a good next move in. And on those days, sometimes that topic applied around what you were working on or what you were having difficulty. So it's a great place to bounce off conversations that you're having difficulty in your own work.
Thank you all. And I really appreciate this question. It is an intensive program. So it's definitely something to, look at all of our program components, look at our trips, and make sure that you're in a good spot to take it on this year. Maybe in a couple years and a couple cohorts, you'll feel ready. Or maybe this year is the time for you. So it's definitely something to consider. I appreciate all of the fellows sharing about their experience. And I'll say that our team is going to be as accommodating as we possibly can while still making sure that you meaningfully complete the program and hit all of those required components. And we'll also be there with you along the way, checking in, letting you know what you should be focusing on this week. And we're always available for small or big questions. So I hope that eases any nerves about the time commitment. Our next question is about your capstone projects. So what was it like coming up with a capstone project? Did you guys find that process difficult? And yeah, what was your process for coming up with your capstone?
I can start. I just was really trying to focus on, as I was taking in information from the fellowship and thinking about what areas that we could improve our processes, I tried to really like hone in on some of those key touch points. So for me, it was like, I recognize that our training experience for new employees is kind of disjointed, kind of a lot of info, not very engaging. So that was what I chose to focus in on was how to improve that onboarding and training experience for my capstone. So I would just encourage people who are in the program to really lean into the needs of your district. And that might not even be the needs of your own day to day, but really like getting input from your staff, from your kitchen teams, from your central office team. Like, where are the points where we're not where we want to be, and how could like this influx of funding or support move that forward?
For me, I went to my team out in the central kitchen and I got with them and I said, what do you need? What will make you better? What can we purchase? What can we get to increase scratch cooking? And we sat and debated and talked, and several things came up before we finally came up with the potato peeler. So it was a team effort of the folks that are doing it every day.
My capstone project was actually a project I had for our district, and it was a not salad bar in which we packaged produce, fruit, and veg because we didn't have the ability to have a salad bar line after coming out of COVID. And what it ended up happening is it ended up being a shift from that project to a new, where it didn't work out the way I did. We were packaging, we were doing added value fruits, added value veg, making little composed side salads, and it just didn't work for our audience. And I had to flip 2 to 3 times within my project of that 6 months to go from making prepackaged produce items, composed stuff, to taste tests and seeing what drew the dial to move forward with our kiddos. And it was an interesting finding, because from that alone had made me realize the importance of taste tests and doing taste tests with your kids and getting them engaged and having the constant interaction and the engagement with with your kids, because the more interaction with food, different food, the exposure to just something they're not used to, grows their interest, piques their taste buds to want to try more. And then you develop those taste buds for um, uh, the, what do you call it? Not instant potatoes, but fresh mashed potatoes. And you develop the interest to try more of the scratch food items and not the prepackaged items. And so that's how, from my capstone, it's grown to where let's test it, let's test it, let's test it, because that's where it makes a big difference with kids.
I think the capstone is the best grant you'll ever write because it's guaranteed money. So once you have your plan, you're ready to go, you know for sure that you're getting this project that you really want to do. And for us, we kind of wanted to rehaul our breakfast program. We had lots of packaged, higher sugar items that we were trying to get rid of and be ahead of the curve for the USDA guidelines. And with my capstone, we were able to make our team's life easier in terms of getting large blenders to make smoothies and acai bowls, an easier process. And then we were able to meet those guidelines. So I think it helps in both ways, where you can help your team and kind of help get those guidelines and recommendations in at the same time. So it was definitely a great project.
Thank you, everyone. Yes, the capstone is a very special part of the program, and I agree with you, Brianna. It is, CAF approves the capstone projects and your supervisors approve the capstone projects, but every fellow is guaranteed to be implementing a project in their district. And it's really just about increasing scratch and also creating a project that allows you to develop professionally as well and get out of your comfort zone in your district. So thank you all for sharing. Those are all of the questions that we have time for today, but we do have all of your contact information in the Q&A, so our team will be sure to reach out afterwards and respond to any lingering questions. You're also free to reach out to us at fellowship@chefannfoundation.org if you have any questions, and we'd also be happy to connect you with alumni if you want to talk about the program more one-on-one. Brianna's willing, many of our alumni are willing to talk with folks, so I'm sure that we can connect you with someone. And I'm going to go ahead and share our screen for just some final housekeeping. So here is our timeline for the 2026 cohort. As you all know, the application is open now, and it will close on September 10th at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time. After the application closes, we'll review all applications and let you all know if you've been selected for an interview. Those interviews will take place in October, and we'll plan to notify applicants of their selection status in late November. And then in January 2026, we'll kick off our 13 months of learning, which will close with your graduation in January of 2027. And so with that, I just want to say thank you to everyone again for taking some time out of your day, and a special thank you to our panelists for sharing their insights and experiences today. You guys say it better than I could ever say it myself, so I really appreciate you. And if you're leaving today's webinar feeling energized about this opportunity, I really hope that we will see an application from you. Good luck, and I hope you all have a lovely rest of your afternoon and evening.